Police and Office of Sheriff sign MOU. Development partners want better cold chain system. And Intercity season launched.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Seah.
Good evening and thanks for joining us for Thursday's news. The Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary signed a memorandum of understanding with the Office of the Sheriff of PNG today. Both parties acknowledge that this MOU is an enhancement to the pre-existing arrangement between RPNGC and the Office of the Sheriff in strengthening their ties for effective and efficient delivery of the judicial system. Kilawani reports.
The Royal Papua New Guinea Constabulary signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the Office of the Sheriff of PNG today at the Waigani Courthouse in the nation's capital. Ian Augeria, Sheriff of PNG, says this agreement only strengthens the existing relationship between RPNGC and the Office of the Sheriff.
In fact, the police are a number one enforcer of decisions of the court, especially in the criminal jurisdiction. And the police also is an important part of the court's work. And the police also have traditionally been of assistance to the Sheriff's Office in enforcement of civil judgments. Also, we've included in this MOU the Sheriff's assistance to the police in terms of the enforcement of criminal proceedings where the police seize back property or other assets of value, and the police commissioner being the person named responsible for disposal of these proceeds of crime.
Police Commissioner David Manning during the signing stated RPNGC is a key and enabling partner in ensuring the rule of law is not just observed but enforced as well, adding the MOU further adds value to the core function of the police.
We're all too happy to be party to this signing this morning, and as far as the constabulary is concerned, it is our contribution to basically bringing about greater effect to the rule of law. We're faced with many challenges in our country, and where we can assist and where we can enter into agreements or arrangements with others in the sector, we're always looking out for such opportunities, and as well as not only just providing signing of such documents, but also bringing about adding value to those arrangements.
After the signing, Commissioner Manning presented 3 new vehicles to the Sheriff's Enforcement Unit. Manning said the vehicles were purchased using the COVID funding. The Sheriff, who is also the Registrar of the National Courts, is an appointment by the Head of State, gazetted on 17th April 1975. His office is responsible for executing judiciary orders, for example, seizure of property under a warrant or writ from village, district, national and Supreme Courts. Kilawani, National EMTV News.
Former Deputy Prime Minister David Stephen has questioned the National Executive Council decision to abolish the Police Department and Office of the Secretary of Police. David said it is a contempt of the Supreme Court if NEC has taken the decision to secure a favorable outcome in the Supreme Court case that was filed to save David Manning's appointment as Commissioner of Police. The former Attorney General says the NEC may have been misguided. It is unacceptable for the state to use public resources and abuse legal process and avenues to defend a wrong decision. Davis said it is about a fundamental principle in our Constitution, recognizing separation of powers of organs of state and the duty to respect and observe their independence. Opposition leader Belden Nama has criticized Prime Minister James Marape for not speaking out on recent ethnic clashes in Port Moresby. He says the government must take action and consider removing all settlements in the city as these issues continue to tarnish the image of the country.
Why not come down from up there, James Marape? Come down and deal with your people of Taripori on the streets of Port Moresby. Why not come down, William Sal, and deal with your people of Goilala? And let's end this ethnic violence in the city. The extreme would be to abolish all the settlements throughout the country. And if I was in government today, that would be my extreme action. Because we cannot continue to allow this ethnic violence in our towns and cities. We are scaring off our development partners. We have heard enough of PNG as being the worst place on earth for investment destination, for tourist destination. We need to take action, but this government cannot do it.
Taruba Aid Post or Sub-Health Center in Rigo Coast Central Province is in dire need for rehabilitation. Community health worker Adam Yori has raised concerns on the government to improve the infrastructure. Currently, the aid post is only doing referrals due to lack of proper medical equipment and drugs to treat patients.
The aid post is one of the oldest health infrastructures in Rigo Coast that serves more than 3,000 people in the surrounding villages of Taruba. Since its establishment, the Sub-Health Center has provided its core functions to improve and promote healthy living in rural setting and helping people assisting with several medical activities. However, the Sub-Health Center has seen a decline in aid due to the deteriorating condition. For years, the aid post has been neglected with no funding and support from the Provincial Health Authority and the national government.
This place was run down. So you can see the tanks leaking, rusted walls. There's no standing scales. Like before you give in the drug to any patient, you must have the patient weigh before giving out according to the weight. You can see there's no light in there. By the time all patients come at night, I used to tell them to bring their own torch.
With no proper hospital infrastructure, some of the daily challenges faced include the difficulty in treating patients and providing modern maternal health services.
There's plenty of mothers here. All find him hard long. Karen picking him. Here no got proper things, proper beds, proper and delivery side them zero need here.
Community health worker Adam Yori is concerned the lack of modern hospital equipments in the aid post will force patients to travel distances to access medical services. He is appealing to responsible health authorities and the district leaders to look at the needs of the aid post and assist.
Helping people building one health sub-center somewhere here, so somewhere around here. So these villages around Rivali, Galoma, Gabone, Bonanamo, all these ones can come here and get service. All these are aid posts. So that's what we think. And to maintain this aid post too, because they're run down, it's already run down.
Despite the deteriorating state of the aid post, Mr. Yori is happy to serve the community with whatever little he has to provide.
Plant is something where, straight path. It's just saving the community. Because me like giving service to all people, so me just come and saving more.
Suli National EMTV News.
The Morobe province has lost one of its leaders, a pillar, a close brother to late Grand Chief Sir Michael Samare, and a founding member of the Bully Beef Club, Sir Jerry Kasip Nalau. He was the first PNG District Commissioner, first Governor under the new reforms, and served as a key-up in the days of self-governance. While Sir Michael is the name tagged to PNG independence, a young Sir Jerry was one of those leaders in Morobe who supported the cause and campaigned for an independent and united Papua New Guinea. His death comes 2 months after his close friend, the Grand Chief Sir Michael Somare, passed on. According to family members, he had still been mourning the late Grand Chief's death. Sir Jerry Nalau passed on at around 10:30 this morning at his daughter's home in Lae. He died at the age of 83 and is survived by his 6 children, 21 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren. You're watching National EMTV News. We'll have more stories after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. With support from development partners, the government is working on strengthening the cold chain system that will boost immunization coverage in the country. Yesterday, UNICEF, with support from WHO, presented 224 solar vaccine refrigerators and freezers to the National Department of Health. This is to ensure safe storage of all vaccines and boost immunization coverage.
In a small ceremony yesterday, a total of 224 solar vaccine refrigerators and freezers were presented to the National Health Department. This is to help strengthen, improve and sustain the cold chain system for the country's overall immunization program. This assistance is part of the support initiated by Gavi, UNICEF and World Health Organization to help improve the efficiency and effectiveness of the immunization supply chain.
The delivery of this equipment is a huge step that will help us elevate the cold chain systems in PNG, that so our vaccines are managed effectively and efficiently.
A functioning cold chain ensures that vaccines are stored safely and retain their potency to protect children against diseases such as measles and polio. This equipment will help strengthen routine immunisation services in the provinces and ensure high-quality vaccines are available to all children.
This assistance was initiated in 2020 at a cost of 14 million kina that involved the provision of 674 cold chain equipment. Last year, an initial batch of 364 vaccine refrigerators and freezers were distributed to various rural and urban health facilities. This additional batch of equipment will be distributed to urban and rural health facilities without electricity. This equipment will help rehabilitate the remaining gap in the country's immunization cold chain system, and it will also support the smooth rollout of the COVID-19 vaccination campaign.
While we continue to support in the strengthening of the routine immunization program in the country, I hope that our dear partners at the Department of Health will also prioritize the maintenance of this equipment.
According to the Health Secretary, immunization coverage in the country as of last year is at 49%. This has dropped in the first quarter of this year due to COVID-19 restrictions and other factors. The latest nationwide cold chain equipment inventory indicated that 83% of the cold chain system in PNG is fragile and needed rehabilitation, and the government is working on strengthening the cold chain system that will boost immunization coverage in the country.
The first quarter, we realized that our immunization coverage has gone down for many various reasons, from COVID-19, immobilizations of the vaccines, and also the patrols for the immunization coverage.
As we continue to prioritize investment in the health and development of every child in Papua New Guinea, we must ensure that they receive the essential life-saving vaccines that will protect them against childhood diseases. So this cold chain works really well for Papua New Guinea. It will hold the COVID vaccines as well as other vaccines that we use.
The second batch of 89 vaccine freezers for the remaining health facilities will arrive in July this year. Rayon Lakingu, National EMTV News.
More donor support from the U.S. government as COVID-19 numbers continue to increase in the country. The U.S. government, through the embassy, handed over 26,000 testing kits to the health department yesterday.
Yes, the number of COVID-19 cases keeps increasing despite a downward curve in the recent days.
We've recorded 118 total confirmed, and it's new cases. That brings the total for PNG to 11,407.
A challenge the health department currently faces is the capacity to carry out effective testing. This prompted the donation, with the U.S. ambassador emphasizing that accurate and timely data supports decision makers with targeted response activities that quickly addresses hotspots before a full outbreak.
While we know that we're embarking upon a national vaccination campaign, the more data we have, the better testing we have, the better surveillance we have, the more all of those tools in our toolkit can be brought together to combat the pandemic.
This support is facilitated through the NGO group FH360.
This COVID-19 assistance project focuses on strengthening the health system at the national level and within NCD to prevent, detect, and respond to the threat posed by COVID-19.
On behalf of the United States government and on behalf of the American people, I am honored to hand over to the National Department of Health 25,000 Universal Transport Medium, or UTM, test kits, and 1,050 BioFire COVID-19 test kits that have been donated through the United States Agency for International Development and our Department of Defense.
Health Minister Jelta Wong received the donations on behalf of the Health Department and thanked the U.S. government for the continued support.
We've accepted how your help can contribute to healing our people, and we're very grateful.
Shaman Poreambeb, National EMTV News.
U.S. Ambassador Aaron McKee has joined Deputy Controller Dr. Downey Esarom in encouraging Papua New Guineans to get vaccinated. Dr. Esarom says getting vaccinated is the end game to the pandemic, urging everyone to be part of the national vaccination rollout program.
The PM did a soft launch on the national vaccination program. Provinces are now in the process, as we speak, launching their national program. We've proven that we have a health system that can work if we all stand together, focus our attention to what we intend to undertake to make an impact, but most importantly, working as a team.
We cannot advance our protection of Papua New Guinea and Papua New Guineans and bring an end to COVID unless we get everybody vaccinated. I urge all of you here today and the citizens of Papua New Guinea to step up, as we have in the United States and, frankly, around the world, to get vaccinated.
Australia will continue its role in assisting Papua New Guinea battle the coronavirus pandemic. High Commissioner to PNG John Phillips says this support comes with medical supplies and technical advice. Phillips says not just Papua New Guinea but in the Pacific region as well.
Similar way as we've provided sufficient money, $144 million for vaccine acquisition by Papua New Guinea. That's not just for the acquisition of vaccines, it's for the information materials to help persuade people why they should take the vaccine. It's for the PPE and for the associated materials to actually inject the vaccine. It's for the logistics to get the vaccine to the provinces. It's part of the $60 million we provided over the last year to support the healthcare systems as they develop plans to roll out and administer the vaccines. And this assistance will continue all of this year and next year as the rollout strategy continues throughout Papua New Guinea.
Elvis Barg remains the Provincial Administrator of Western Highlands Provincial Government whilst awaiting the substantive matter regarding his appointment by the National Executive Council. This comes after a three-man Supreme Court bench dismissed the appeal by the Western Highlands Provincial Executive Council to stay the appointment of Barg by the NEC. Barg met with his senior managers yesterday to continue the public service role.
The Western Highlands Provincial Administration position is one of few other PA positions that are before the Waigani National and Supreme Courts to determine the legality of the appointment of the provincial administrator. On Tuesday, a three-man bench comprising of Justice Colin Makyle, Justice Elenas Batari, and Justice Thomas Anis dismissed the PEC application to discharge a stay order on the appointment of Mr. Bug by NEC.
So I will continue to be the provincial administrator for Western Highlands until such time the substantive matter in the Supreme Court is determined.
Bug told his managers in a briefing yesterday that what is before the courts is for the courts to deal with. He is appealing to the provincial administration staff not to take sides, but to work as a team to provide public service and development in Western Highlands. Bug's main focus is to work closely with the governor and address the breakdown of governance in the province.
And I am here, I want to work with my governor. He's a leader, he's a chief, he's got vast experience and he's been a chief in the Pacific community.
Bug recently met with the provincial administration staff and had outlined strict guidelines for public servants to follow. Vasanatha Yama, National EMTV News, Mount Hagen.
And now looking at the NASFund market report, the Kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 US in the interbank markets. At Bank South Pacific, your Kina was buying $0.2775 US, $0.3534 Australian dollars, $0.2229 euro, and 29.67 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices, at New York closed, gold is trading higher, coffee and cocoa closed higher, and copper closed lower. Palm oil and copper closed higher, and crude oil is trading higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading higher, and the Ordinaries is trading higher.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The 2021 season of the Intercity Rugby League competition was launched yesterday with sponsors and team captains of the 12 franchise teams turning up for the event in Port Moresby. The competition kicks off this weekend under strict COVID-19 protocols and will only be played in two venues, Port Moresby and Lae, with crowds restricted to attend the matches.
Three teams missed the soft launch of the 2021 Digicel Cup season yesterday, with Wagi Tumbe, Hagen Eagles and the Kimbe Cutters not able to attend due to their flight schedules. Only 9 of the 12 franchise clubs made it to the launch at the Sanctuary Hotel in Port Moresby on Wednesday. Chief Executive Officer of the Papua New Guinea Rugby Football League, Stanley Hondina, said like last season, the competition has been given first preference to be the first sporting competition in the country to be granted approval.
Dr. Kendino, if you can extend our word of gratitude to the controller, David Manning, and also the Deputy Controller, Dr. Doni, on the audience they had with us, the time that they could make available and give us the opportunity to get our system started and get it running.
The competition, under a strict Banis protocols, will ensure that all COVID-19 measures are adhered to, with a ban on fans to attend the games. Only 2 venues will host the matches, with the Oil Search National Football Stadium in Port Moresby and the Lae Rugby League Oval in Lae.
We will be playing our first game this Saturday and Sunday only in Lae and Moresby with no crowd, but the details of it will come later when our competition officer makes this announcement. But on this juncture, I would like to thank our sponsors and partners, everyone involved, to see this game coming back and coming alive. We appeal to all supporters, spectators and people and the public to respect the game and support the game in the true spirit of the game and support it. So I'd like to wish all the 12 franchises that are partaking from the PNG, RFL and NRLC board all the best in the game. Get out there, battle hard, play strong, play safe and play fair.
Fidelis Sukina, Trukai Sports.
The PRK Gulf Issos have some experience on board for this year's campaign in the Intercity Cup Rugby League competition. The team had a rough season last year, finishing at the bottom of the ladder, and they hope their new recruits will help them improve from last year's performance.
The PRK Gulf ISO franchise have much to look forward to this season, with a dismal season last year finishing at the bottom of the Digicel Cup ladder in the 2020 season. The management has brought in some experience to the team, with former Hunters halfback Roger Laka joining the team as the vice-captain. He, among other players such as Blenda Bavu, bringing in the much-needed experience.
So we've got some experience there that can help us get around the park, as well as have a little bit more grunt in the middle. And we're fortunate to have that this year. So,
captaining the side this year will be Reiko Jimmy, whom the coach Nigel Hukula says is well deserving of the role.
He's probably been one of the players who's been around this franchise for a little bit, and he's also come up to the junior development rank. So we wanted to go with a little bit of consistency and also someone who's familiar with the team culture. Rico was the standout candidate for us, and also he was fortunate enough to get a look into the Hunters program. So having that experience, we think that he will be able to share that both on and off the field.
Reiko says with the experience in the side this year, he looks forward to a much improved season.
As a captain, I'm just looking forward for this season, and with the help of the senior players, Rosa and Makara, Blenda Babu, and all those have given us that confidence to go through this season, and I'm pretty sure that the season is going to be a good one for us.
Vice-Captain Roger Laka says that with a fairly young side, his job will be to guide the team in the middle and helping the team to improve on their mistakes from last season.
A lot of raw boys, without any experience. And so for myself and Blend and Makara and obviously Ricky, his experience from Hunters, hopefully we can help and guide these young boys, just doing the little things right.
And there was more good news for the camp with the inclusion of former Oil Search PNG Orchids coach Bagelo Solian, who was with the Central Dabaris last season, called into the side as an assistant coach.
We brought on 2 assistant coaches. Bagali was one, and the other is Peter Popper. So we've got 2 helping. Part of the plan is because we've got this second-tier competition that we want to run as part of our development, and some of our coaches will help in helping the boys from the province.
Fidelis Sukina, Trukai Sports.
The Moni Plus NCD Port Moresby Vipers today launched their 2021 season by cutting a cake and having their group of sponsors also attend the event. The Vipers seem to be growing from strength to strength with a positive outlook for the season. The Moni Plus NCDC Port Moresby Vipers officially launched their 2021 season at the National Capital District office today. The team had a long pre-season and it is paying off, with the coach Leonard Tarum confident they can finish a step further than their finish in the 2020 Digicel Cup season.
This week will be our 14th week of training, so it's like we've covered the almost 3 to 4 months, almost 4 months, and I think we are ready. Thank you, Chairman, for being always supportive to us. We know we've disappointed everyone, our supporters, sponsors last year, but this year we are ready to do better than last year.
This year's team will be captained by Thompson Tete, who is one of the senior players in the team. He was humbled by the appointment and is looking forward to being a key player in the team's campaign for this year.
Thank you to the team management and the board, through the leadership of Dr. Newton, to appoint me as the captain for 2021. I know we have a lot of leaders in the team, and together we will work and bring the team forward through the year, and we'll become better than last year.
NCD City Manager Bennett Kippit told the players that they were representing the city of Port Moresby, a diverse city made up of all people across the regions of Papua New Guinea.
We also want you to think like you are playing for PNG. And I think it is, you know, because most of you come from all parts of PNG too, all right?
The team finished fourth in the finals race for the top prize last season, but fell short. And this year, all the sponsors and management are hoping for a premiership victory.
I know you have the ability, you have the experience. There's also many youngsters that comes in to join you guys, you know. And, you know, I think the future looks really good, you know, for Port Moresby Vipers, all right? So go there, play well, play as hard as you can, play fair, play well, and win the games, all right? You win it for Port Moresby Vipers, you are also winning it for NCDC, and you're winning it for PNG too, all right? Don't forget that, all right?
Fidelis Sukina, Trukai Sports.
And that story wraps up Trukai Sports. The weather details after the break.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
I'll look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the Highlands region. Showers right across the region, then morning fog in Mount Hagen, Goroka, Kundiawa, Mindi and Wabeg.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that's been the news, sport and weather for Thursday, the 6th of May 2021. On behalf of the news team, pleasant viewing, be safe and good night.